Orange Sky Audio presents Dan Kotler Collection, Books 1 through 3, by Kevin Tumlinson, narrated for you by Joe Hempel.
Orange Sky Audio presents The COELHO Medallion, Dan Kotler, Book 1, by Kevin Tumlinson, narrated for you by Joe Hempel. Prologue. Prime Alert Fire Safety Products, Inc., New Mexico. Alarms were already blaring, echoing through the canyons of corrugated aluminum among the outbuildings and warehouses of Prime Alert Fire Safety Products. Alarms were a bit unusual here. The facility was located in an expanse of desert nestled in among a collection of foothills in New Mexico, near the Colorado border. The closest town only had a few hundred people, officially. Unofficially, maybe a few 150. None of them had any interest in breaking into a bunch of warehouses 100 miles south of anywhere, where nothing better than smoke detectors were manufactured and stored. Except for tonight. Henry Hank Lott was pretty sure this would turn out to be a case of some bored teenagers getting a little too drunk and a little too rowdy. He figured he would find them next to one of the big metal outbuildings with a can of spray paint and more than a few bottles of beer, tagging the giant metal canvases of the warehouses to show their virility before slinking off to diddle each other in the brush. Guys and girls, Hank figured. Kids. Hank was the night shift here, and he had no issues with that. It was hours and hours of being alone, with nobody but Hank Williams Jr. and Johnny Cash and a few other bad seeds for company. And that was a bit of all right for Hank. He'd had enough of most folks. They could keep their Facebooks and tweeters. Hank would stick to a good book and a country music soundtrack. It helped quite a bit that the job was pretty routine. Nothing much ever changed, and Hank liked it that way. He made his rounds in the same beat-up Chevy pickup that the company had issued him almost 3 decades ago. He stared out at the same New Mexico desert night after night, and woke up around noon every day to go fishing in the same creek, with the same rod and reel he'd used for 30 years. And every so often he ran off the same sort of teenagers who were probably causing all the ruckus tonight. The monitoring service had called just 20 minutes ago, and Hank rolled out from his little spot overlooking the mountains and the flat pan of the surrounding desert. He was a bit grumpy about putting down the book he was reading, a Nick Thacker thriller that was really killing the hours. But he so rarely saw any activity here, it was tough to be mad for too long. There was always the chance he might catch some burglars trying to steal computers from the offices or something. He'd be a hero in the morning. Maybe he'd get a bonus or a raise. He hadn't seen either of those for a few years.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?